So today's deck is BlueBlack Control. It's a list pulled off of some of the recent winning lists from daily events and premier events. This list is a bit more heavily slanted towards aggro, with 2 Consume the Meek's main board, 2 Ratchet Bombs main board, some Disfigures and Doom Blades. Overall, pretty standard list, and we'll see how it goes. Standard BlueBlack Control in a constructed 8-man today. This is a pretty mediocre hand, but it's got a little bit of action and some lands, so we can't throw it away on a blind opponent. Let's see what happens. So our opponent opens up on a Vampire Lacerator here. And our hand isn't so great against vampires, but we do have a Spreading Seas, so if we draw some removal and some more action, we'll be fine. Opponent lays a Lava Claw Reaches and another Lacerator and gets in for damage. On our turn, we're going to play our Spreading Seas and see if we can draw into some removal here. The Jace, while good, is kind of disappointing to see at this point. We really want to see some Disfigures or Ratchet Bombs. Our opponent drops a Viscera Seer and gets in for 4 damage. Although he does not make another land drop, which is very nice for us. We preordain and see if we can find some removal. We find none, but we do find another Spreading Seas, which will be nice if he does not make any more land drops. Lucky for us, he doesn't make any more land drops, and we get a chance to Spreading Seas him out of mana for a while. We draw another Jace off the Spreading Seas, which is not very good. He's going to be able to hit us for 5 this turn and take us down to 4. We do have to Consume the Meek, but we're going to have to tap out for it. And if he has another land drop and another creature after combat, we could be in trouble. We drop the Consume the Meek and pray that he doesn't have anything else right now. He does get to scry 1 twice in response, however, assumedly finding his land. Now here's an interesting spot. We can play the Misty Rainforest and the Grave Titan, but that would leave us open to Bolt for the land that he probably has found, which he did there. We Fate Seal that to the bottom, play the Misty Rainforest, and pass the turn. He finds a red source, but it comes into play tapped, which is good for us. On our turn, we Fate Seal him. See he has another red source on top. Let him have it because it comes into play tapped. We preordain, see if we can find some more gas. He plays his other red source. We keep Mana Leak as backup, and we intend to Tectonic Edge away his 2 red sources. We find a Pulse Tracker on top, which we let him have. We use Control Trick to make sure we can hit both of his red lands. We get to Mana Leak his Lightning Bolt, lay a land, and pass the turn. Since he has nothing to play on his turn, we'll be able to resolve the Grave Titan on our next turn. Fate Seal again. Swamp, he can have that. It's not going to change the Grave Titan's clock. Grave Titan comes down, and we pass the turn to him. On his turn, he plays a Swamp he gets, and lays a Dark Tutelage. Now here, if we had drawn an untapped land, we could have killed him with Double Creeping Tar Pit and the Grave Titan. We went for the safer route instead to Fate Seal him and put him to 1. Our opponent can't recover, and we win the game. Game 2, we open up here with a horrible hand, so We're gonna have to mulligan it. Let's see how this goes. Mulligan it down. This is not a great hand, but it's gonna have to pass. We're not gonna get a better 5-card hand usually. Play our Drowned Catacomb and pass. Our opponent gets to drop a Colostria Highborn here, which is usually a misplay to play it out this early. You really like to protect it. Here, we want to try to find another untapped blue-black land that we can play. Unfortunately, we find no such thing, so we're going to have to pass a turn. I'm not sure if that was the correct line of play there, but I knew we needed to get some land for the following turns. And I figured I could disfigure off a blue-black land if I pulled it out, or a swamp. He gets to duress away my Spreading Seas and get in there for some damage. Here we have the ability to Inquisition out of his hand. He's on a lightning bolt in response, leaving nothing but land in his hand. So we get to kill his Colostria Highborn while he's tapped out. Oh, it was a Mark of Mutiny in his hand, I'm sorry. On his turn, he'll take 2 more damage from the Vampire Lacerators. He has no cards in hand, but we're not in a good position either. He's going to play another Lacerator, swing in for 4. We're going to work up the position here. If we play the Creeping Tarbet and the Vampire Nighthawk, he's going to have to top deck a Bolt or a Gatekeeper to really put the hurt on. So we'll maybe have some time to play our Grave Titan out. Fortunately for us, as you're going to see here, once this goes through, he top decks the Gatekeeper Malk here, which I guess is fair game since he didn't have any land last game, and gets in for 6, essentially winning the game right here. We have no outs. Crashing in for 6. Draw a land. Does not do it. Good game. Round 1, game 3. So we open up on a pretty mediocre hand here, but we're going to be able to strip 2 of his cards before his second turn. So we're going to go with this and see how it runs from here. Our opponent's going to mulligan down to 5, which is really nice. We open up with a Darkslick Shore and take his Pulse Tracker, leaving with nothing but lands. It means our Inquisition of Kozilek is probably going to be dead for the rest of the game, since he's going to be able to play any spells out before the Inquisition can hit him. The only chance I'm going to be able to have to use it is to bounce a creature with Jace and Inquisition it. Here he plays his top-decked Vampire Hexmage, which is fine. It's not a huge threat at the moment. We pass a turn back, having drawn nothing but land. He gets in with 2 damage, the Hexmage. On our turn, we know that they can kill the Jace with their Hexmage, but we need to draw some cards. So we're going to brainstorm with this Jace. Try to shovel 1 card away with the Verdant Catacombs next turn. Now here's an interesting thing. He bolts in response to the brainstorm, which makes no sense since I've already played my land and I'm tapped out. All he's doing is giving me free information regarding the fact that my Jace will be dead without him using the Hex Mage. So the Lava Reaches is a new card. We know he hasn't drawn anything new. He has nothing but lands in his hand. We shuffle away one of the cards. Get to Preordain. Find Spreading Seas for his Lava Reaches. And we have a Disfigure for his Hex Mage next turn. He plays his Verdant Catacombs, which is a card we knew that was in his hand. So he has one unknown card in his hand at the moment. We're looking for a Grave Titan or a Jace right now to finish the game off. We're going to draw for the turn. Preordain. Keep another Preordain. We'll have 2 Grave Titans. Stoke Rebuttal this turn, and Grave Titan, followed by Grave Titan, should seal the game up. Our opponent plays a Swamp and a Bloodghast. We don't actually do anything by countering the Bloodghast, so we let it through. Play our Grave Titan, and pass the turn. Vampires has really no good answer to Grave Titan. They can mark a mutiny or active treason it, but all it does is kill a zombie and generates 2 zombies of their own. We get it back, our Grave Titan. That is unless they have a sacrifice outlet, which he did not. We crack in there with our Grave Titan, play the other one, and that's pretty much game. Nothing left but the singing of the old lady, that is. So, overall, he got lucky, probably a tad bit more than we did, but it turned out that we pulled out the match.